Good afternoon. I'm going to post a video to help you with your homework tonight, but we are continuing to add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators. That's the work that we did all last week. And this week we're adding a new layer to that work. So we're not only just adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, we are also going to need to simplify those fractions into its simplest form. The steps to do this work is first you're going to find the GCF. GCF stands for the greatest common factor. After we have found the greatest common factor, we're then going to divide the numerator and denominator by the GCF. A little hint though, if your GCF is 1, then your fraction is already in its simplest form. I'm going to show you some examples so that you better understand what I mean with all of this vocabulary I'm throwing your way. So let's look at the example 1/4 plus 6/12. So I already know I'm adding two fractions with different denominators or different units. So I need to make them the same. I need to find a common denominator before I can add. So last week we practiced finding the LCM. The LCM, as a reminder, stands for the least common multiple. The least common multiple. So we're going to list the multiples of those denominators. So I listed the first couple of multiples of 4 and the first couple multiples of the number 12. So as you can see, when I list multiples of a number, I'm just skip counting, which is repeated addition. So I have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 for my 4s. When I skip counted and found the multiples of 12, I have 12, 24, 36, and 48. So I need to find the least common multiple. So we know that 4 and 12 have a lot of multiples that are in common, but the least or the smallest number that they do have in common is 12. So 12 is my LCM. Now that I have my LCM is 12, now I have my common denominator. So when I rewrite these fractions, I'm going to rewrite them with the new denominator, which is the LCM of 12. So I'm going to get some tape really quick because my Post-its keep falling off. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Technical difficulties. Okay, so first step, I found my LCM. My least common multiple is 12. It's the smallest number that these numbers have in common. Now that I have my LCM, I'm going to rewrite my fractions, my original fractions, and I'm going to make equivalent fractions with the LCM. So I need to think, all right, my denominator went from a 4 to a 12. How did that happen? Well, because in 5th grade, we need to have our multiplication facts known fluently. You should be able to do this work inside of your head. If you cannot do this inside of your head, then at home, I strongly suggest you practice your multiplication facts. So I know that 4 times 3 is 12. So 1 times 3 is 3. So my equivalent fraction with the new common denominator, so 1/4 is equivalent to 3/12. Now 6/12. Well, notice that my denominators are the same. So how did I get from 12 to 12? I multiplied by 1. So if 12 times 1 is 12, 6 times 1 is 6. Now I have my equivalent fractions. Now the denominators or the units are the same. So now I can add 3/12 plus 6/12. We know from 4th grade when we add fractions with the same denominator, we know that whatever we do to the denominator, we do to the numerator. Okay. Sorry, so we know that we just add the numerators, we leave the denominators as is, they're the same. So 3 plus 6 is 9, and 12 stays the same. Now here's the next step. We're not done yet because now we need to simplify those fractions. We can simplify that fraction 9/12 by finding the GCF, the greatest common factor, and then we can divide the numerator and the denominator. So now I have 9/12. I'm going to list the factors of 9 and 12. Factors, if you don't remember, factors are numbers you multiply to get a product. So I listed all the multiples of 9 and the multiples of 12. So I know 1 times 9 is 9, 3 times 3 is 9, 1 times 12 is 12, 2 times 6 is 12, and 3 times 4 is 12. But I need to find the greatest common factor, the factor that is the biggest that 9 and 12 have in common. So I see that there is a 1 and a 1. There's a 9. No 9s here. I see a factor of 3. I see a factor of 3. Okay, so I need to think, what's bigger, 1 or 3? 3 is the bigger number. So 3 is my greatest common factor, my GCF. Here's your last step. After you have found the GCF, you're going to divide the numerator and the denominator with the GCF. So my GCF, my greatest common factor, is 3. So I need to think, okay, I need to divide my numerator and my denominator by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now we have our answer in its simplest form. So our original problem was 1/4 plus 6/12. When we found equivalent fractions, our answer was 9/12, but we needed to simplify it by finding the GCF and then dividing the numerator and denominator by the GCF. All right, so if you need to kind of rewind and review the steps that I took, please do that as well. But other than that, good luck on your homework. If you have any questions, please feel free to follow up with me tomorrow. All right, good luck. See you tomorrow.